Hey guys, I just wanted to do my review for Legends of Tomorrow, Season 1, Episode 13, Leviathan. So, the Wave Rider arrives in London in 2166, about 3 days before Rip's family is killed by Savage, and the Wave Rider is almost shot down by Savage's forces, but he manages to land the ship in the outskirts of London. And the first course of action is to go and infiltrate Savage's shock troopers, in which he's giving a speech and to rally his troops and lead his last conquest in London to solidify his power. Rip basically Rip goes there with Captain Cole, McRoy, and Sarah. Leonard Snart thinks that the Lieutenant Cassandra has made them and recognizes them, and he decides to create a diversion by tripping Rip so that the shock troopers can focus on him while Mick, and Sarah attack the other shock troopers. Kendra's watching the whole event from the Wave Rider and notices that Cassandra is wearing the same bracelet that Kendra wore in ancient Egypt before she was first killed by Vandal Savage, and talks to Sarah about trying to retrieve the bracelet, but they're overwhelmed by the shock troopers and have to retreat back to the Wave Rider. Kendra explains that the bracelet is one of the items that can be used to kill Vandal Savage, and she asks Mick and Leonard to go retrieve the bracelet from Cassandra, and Rip takes Jax, Ray, and Stein to go meet up with the last resistance to go fight against Savage. They're reluctant to trust them at first, but eventually they decide. But Rip convinces them they're on the same side, and the other resistance force was already slaughtered by Savage's forces. And when during the interaction with the resistance, Rip confides in Ray that after he tried to kill Savage back in ancient Egypt, that he had actually come back in 2166 to try to save his family just prior to the actual day that Savage killed his family, but every time he kept going back in time to earlier points to keep his family from being killed, that they still died anyways, and they start to wonder that maybe that he wasn't meant to save his family, that the best he can do is just try to stop Savage once and for all. And Ray's the one who convinces him that he doesn't believe in faith, that he believes in choices, and Rip should come around to the same idea. And Mick and Snart are able to capture Cassandra, who we find out is Vandal Savage's daughter, and they use the bracelet with the help of Mick, they smelt the bracelet and code it to Carter's old mace, which we find out from a past life flashback that Carter gave to Kendra during one of their past lives in 1941, and so she realizes that she can use use that coding with the mace to fight and kill Savage. And but beforehand, and Snart is able to instead of torturing Cassandra for information about Savage's defenses, about his army and whatnot, he tells him that I know a thing or two about crappy fathers, and that even though you think that deep down they're just really a good guy, that when it comes to crappy fathers there is no deep down. And when Snart can sway Cassandra by showing her the refugees that they brought onto the ship earlier when they were trying to protect them from Savage's forces, who actually, I'll get into that later, but she just thinks that they're all like rebels trying to kill her father, and that her father was the savior who overthrew Perdegaton and was going to, reunite the world from the chaos caused by his reign. Snart shows footage from 2147 in which he was talking to Predagonton's father from episode 10 about using the Armageddon virus to, thin the herd, as he put it. At first she's in denial about it, but then she realizes that the footage is real and that her father really is a monster. And also another point of the episode, Stein brings the refugees and the refugees onto the ship, and they're about to fly off to safety, but they realize that Savage's super weapon, which turns out to not be an explosive but actually a giant atom robot called the Leviathan, attacks the ship. And even though the Wave Rider fires everything it has at the robot, it grabs it in midair and tosses it aside, and the Wave Rider is badly damaged, and they have an hour to repair it before the Leviathan comes and kills them all. So Jax uses the time drive from the ship to power Ray's suit, and instead of causing it to shrink, it causes it to grow giant size to fight the Leviathan in kind of this Pacific Rim-esque battle, which is actually really cool, has to be seen to believe. Is pretty much geeking out. And at first the Leviathan has the upper hand and knocks Ray out, but then Jax gives him an inspirational speech to wake him up, saying that you're the one that preaches about you don't believe in fate, you believe in choices, you have the choice to get up and beat this thing. And Ray's able to punch the robot's head off and destroy it, while Rip, Mick, and Snart and the other legends show up to confront Savage, including Cassandra, and Savage realizes something is up when the bracelet is missing from Cassandra's left arm, and he realizes that she's been turned, and so Hawkgirl flies in and grabs Savage, is able to smack him around with the maze, which starts giving off mystic energy, which means injuring Savage, and she's about to kill him until one of the shock troopers comes in and distracts Kendra, and when Kendra knocks the mask off, he realizes that the shock trooper is a reincarnation of Carter, and that Savage had actually brainwashed Carter to make sure he doesn't recover his memories. And Savage says that if Kendra kills him, that he'll never be able to recover his memories without Savage's help. And Rip says that if Kendra doesn't kill Savage, that his family dies. And so Rip and Kendra reluctantly bring Savage onto the brink of the brig of their ship and keep them prisoner in the same prison where they kept Rory and Cassandra prior. And Cassandra decides to atone for her actions, helping her father by helping the resistance forces and telling them about the defenses of their army, since they know they're still going to come after them in spite of the fact that they've taken Savage has been taken captive. And Rip goes down to the brig saying that he's going to find a way to save his family and Carter. And Savage just taunts him, saying that only time will tell if he'll be able to cheat fate. This is probably one of this is probably a very solid episode, because now it seems like we're getting to the home stretch. They've finally been able to, if you feel like they were kind of either tried and failed to capture Savage, or just sort of like delayed his plan, but now they're finally getting some traction in getting the one up on him. But again, there are 3 episodes left in the season, so it looked based on the trailers that he would escape. But at least an interesting development that now they actually have the one up on Savage for once, and at least some unpredictability as to where the show's going to go from here in the last few episodes of the season. So, did you guys enjoy the episode? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.